We're going for a quick emergency shopping trip, get some milk. Today's kind of a bit of a busy rush actually so far. They're all going to go do some quick shopping, and I'm going to talk about EVs if I've got time, which I may well not have because the shop's closed in 20 minutes anyway. Kind of funky Sunday trading laws. I never really understood those, but what they fundamentally mean is that a shop over a certain size has only got 6 hours with which to sell you stuff on a Sunday. Okay, so I know I said I was going to talk about EVs, but I just couldn't resist taking this down this hill. Nice and smooth. Oh, so cool. Yeah, that was quite fun. They're back. Right, so that means I'm gonna have to talk EVs when we get home, which is absolutely fine. Definitely something to be said for having a big boot. Not sure a Model 3 would work for me. It just wouldn't. I mean, even with a bike rack, and bike racks are a faff. Anyway, gotta fit both the bikes in, because tomorrow I'm hopefully gonna get to go around a country park. We're going over to Gigi and Grandpa's house for the night, and then, yeah. I think a large part of the reason why I wanted Jasper to learn to ride early was because I wanted to be able to go round, you know, cycling through the countryside with him, because it is really good fun and I like being sort of active and stuff. So I have unfortunately let it get rather late. See? Yeah. Now, I'm not going to let that stop me. We're heading off in a minute. Sophie's just getting Jasper ready for bed in the car, and we're going to drive to my parents. But I did want to just run past you, well, a few things EV related, and the first of which we'll cover off now. If you are in the market for a Tesla, then there's probably never been such a good time to get one from inventory in the US, because certain Teslas, probably ex-demos to some extent, but generally, you know, just inventory cars, have got as much as $30,000 off the list price. Wow, that is a massive reduction. However, before all you bargain hunters rush out there to go place your orders, there is one small problem. That $30,000, it's up to $30,000, and we are basically talking the top spec cars. So they were never going to be cheap to begin with. They were going to be very expensive. It's just that now they are less expensive. So really, this is more of use for somebody who could already afford a very expensive Tesla and can now get the absolute best P100D with all bells and whistles. So, it's good news. At least it is if you have, say, $120,000, $130,000 to spend on a car. I should get back in about 9, 10-ish tomorrow, I think. So,
when you get there tonight?
Yeah, okay, I'll give you a ring or something. Good luck with the work. And it's starting to rain, which is really inconvenient because almost every activity I've got over the next 48 hours involves it not raining. Right. Well, that's Jasper safely away in his bed. The thing with Tesla and their current discounts, because they've never really given discounts like this before, and what they're basically trying to do is bolster their sales. So these discounts are only available till the 30th of September. Basically, Q3, big push to try and help out the numbers a bit. Any business would be inclined to do something similar. The other thing that I wanted to talk about today is Audi, because apparently what they would like is to get their 4x4 premium SUV electric vehicle to market before Jaguar gets there with the I-PACE. Now, this is an interesting story, I think, because firstly, I see far more potential for getting there at a decent speed from Jaguar. I also think that there's a gaping hole in the strategy of Audi here, in that they want to bring this car to market with, I don't know, 440 kilometers to 500 kilometers worth of range, so it's going to have a decent range. What they're not going to do is actually take personal responsibility for building a charging infrastructure. They have teamed up with people like BMW and Daimler to install a charging infrastructure. They just aren't actually doing it themselves, they're just trying to coordinate it. Well, unless that coordination takes the approach of, no, putting in one fast charger is not a good idea, and make sure they're in sensible places. It doesn't matter if it costs a bit more to put them in a sensible place, they have to be in a sensible place. You know, these will be the kind of things that they're going to need to say to whoever does install the infrastructure, otherwise it's going to be next to useless. Certainly not something you're going to want to rely on in your premium SUV when going skiing in France, for example. Teslas, on the other hand, go skiing in France on a very regular basis. Funnily enough, oh no, that's a good point. I was planning on going skiing in France. I have now realised that if I do drive to go skiing, I'm going to have a problem with these new wheels, because I don't know how good they're going to be in winter time, but one thing I do know for sure is they are not going to be good in snow. Maybe snow socks? I suppose that's a possibility. I do not want to put chains on them. Don't think they're the kind of wheels, and no, just not, no. Equally, I'm not massively keen on the idea of going back to 19s, partly because I think they actually have to adjust the suspension in order to swap between 19s and 21s, because, for example, the wheels on there are actually staggered, so they're a bit wider at the back than they are at the front. Yeah, lots of things to think about. Anyway, we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. What I really want to see from one of these manufacturers, Jaguar or Audi or Daimler or BMW or whoever, is please, somebody, take Elon Musk up on his offer and partner to use the supercharger network. You can put extra money into it so it'll build out even quicker and be able to support even more cars, and it's fast enough, they're in the right places, there's lots of bays, they're extremely reliable. I mean, when I say extremely reliable, I know of only one supercharger that's ever gone down that I've personally heard of in the UK, and that was one of a 2-bay one in Bristol about 2 years ago. I think the actual connector was broken. Incredible level of reliability compared to what you get from other unnamed quick charge operators, which seem to have a hard time keeping their chargers going for more than a few weeks. In fairness, the Ecotricity electric highway network is substantially better than it ever used to be. It's still not anything like 100%, and it's nothing like as fast as a supercharger. Like I said, partner with Tesla, Audi, that's a good idea. Or Jaguar. I think Jaguar might do that, because they're not a massive car manufacturer in the same way that Audi are and VW and that lot. So they've got less of a reputational hit to take for having to partner with Tesla. And at the same time, if they really want to sell these cars, then that partnership, that access to infrastructure is going to be absolutely key. I also think the I-PACE actually falls into a fairly good slot. I don't really think it would compete with, say, a Model X, which is a much bigger vehicle. So Tesla has got less to worry about on that front until Model Y comes along, but then Model Y should be substantially cheaper than the I-PACE. Jaguar, that's who I reckon is going to partner with Tesla to use the supercharger infrastructure. Right, well, today is a little bit of a catch-up because yesterday was complicated and a long day and I didn't get the opportunity to do any editing really and all the rest of it, so I'm gonna say goodbye. I hope you've enjoyed today's vlog post. If you have, remember to like it, share it and subscribe if you haven't already, and follow me on Instagram if you don't already, and I'll see you tomorrow for the next installment of my daily vlog. Bye. I love going around country parks with Jasper on his bike. Way fun.
Way fun.
In fact, I know it's not proper English and that's not a problem. In fact, I actually...
You're acting like a complete spoiled.